All right, guys, so you have the rest of class time here to work. I do ask, though, that while I'm continuing to go through these problems, that if you don't need to follow along with what I'm doing here, just please work quietly for right now so that I don't have to try talking over you while I go through this. All right, in question number 5 on section 5.3, you're asked to solve this by completing the square. So the first thing I would do is reorder the terms and make sure that the leading coefficient is positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move everything to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to add an x squared to both sides, subtract a 4x from both sides, and subtract an 8 from both sides. The reason I do that is I want my leading coefficient to be positive. Okay? Now, if I had anticipated what I was working on here, I could have just left the 8 alone, right? Because that's the first step anyway. But I just want to go through and solve this kind of step by step. So step 1, move the constant over to the other side. Step 2, make sure your leading coefficient's a 1, which it is. Okay. Step 3, you're going to complete the square. So we take half of our b term. Half of our b term is -4. Half of that is -2. And we're going to square that value. So we're going to take -2 and square it. We get +4. We add that to both sides of our equation. By doing that, it allows us to write this left side as a binomial square. First term x. The second term is the value we squared in that previous step, which was half of our first degree term's coefficient. And again, half of -4 was -2. We just combine our like terms, or combine our terms over on the other side of the equation. Once we get our binomial square written, we're going to extract the square root. That requires that you take into consideration the positive and negative of this root. And are there any perfect square factors you can remove from 12? 4 times 3, the square root of 4 comes out as a 2, and the 3 stays inside the radical. And then the final step here is to isolate your x by undoing it. Whatever you undo it, put it in front of the plus minus. So I'm going to +2 in front of my plus minus 2 root 3. And so that winds up being my solution for this problem. All right, so you write your smaller number first. The smaller is the difference, the minus. And then you're going to follow it with the larger of the two, which is the plus. And so as far as entering it online, you'll probably need to enter it this way.